Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. This is like a round trip episode because we are back in DC and we once again have the Rev Kenn Blanchard, the black man with a gun, the pastor of Patriots, Paladins, and Pistoleros. Ken, thanks for being on again.
Man, thank you for having me on this.
I really appreciate it, dude. This is last time we got together. It was a lot of fun, and we got to see some sights around DC, and we're back in DC, so I'm going to pull a U-turn. Is that illegal?
Yeah, but you're all right.
All right, don't tell anyone. As long as we don't get caught, it's okay.
This little park right here
Yeah?
is where a lot of government people play softball.
Government people play softball?
Yeah, I say government as in people that you wouldn't think normally would play. I mean, you actually find spies playing.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
'Cause I've played on this field, that's why I know.
Nice. Nice. So last time, we talked about a lot of stuff last time. We talked about how you got started. We talked about how you got an education after you joined the NRA and started hanging out with NRA guys. And we talked about how you got into podcasting, and we talked about how you got into music. So we covered a wide variety of stuff, which is pretty cool. Let me ask you this. How do you keep a good attitude about things when things are tough? Because I know I've seen some of your posts recently with all of the mass shootings that we've had going on. And you've seen down in the dumps. I know when I've heard you on your podcast sometimes, you sound like you're down about things too. And it's always nice that you get on and you tell people that they need to, oh my gosh, what's your phrase that you start every podcast off with?
Oh, you survived another week.
You survived another week. That's it. You survived another week. So sometimes I hear in your voice that you don't survive. Not that you're not surviving, but it's survival.
I tried different things. I thought, live by my own creed, and that is be real, be who you are. Mm-hmm. People will know when you're putting them on. So there's trouble in the land. There are people killing for no reason at all. There's murder and mayhem, and we're being accused of it. We're being falsely blamed and put aside of the same stuff. And I know my community. My community is great. These are the folks that you can actually borrow a cup of sugar from, or a lawnmower. Or if something happens, you guys are the folks that I will send my kids over to if I couldn't do anything. But knowing all that, I know you also are weary and hurt and tired. So for me to be all, hey, bubbly and cheery, maybe not necessarily be real. So I'm going to put it right where it's at. And together we're going to be somewhere by the end of the show. That's my goal anyway.
That's cool. That's good. Yeah, it's always inspiring to hear you, even when... not even when you're down, and it's not good to hear you down, but it certainly helps us hear you be real, and it's comforting to hear your voice.
That's the other part. The negative side is, because sometimes I don't have something positive to say, I can't say it. So my show will be late. It should come out every Friday, and then it's like 4 days later on Tuesday, the thing pops up. And I know I probably lost some people who are waiting for my show, but I'm honestly struggling, trying to find the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm trying to make sure that if you're hanging on a bridge and you're thinking about jumping off, my voice is not going to be the one that pushes you off. It's going to be the one that pulls you back.
Yeah, it's going to be the knot that makes you hang on.
I purposely pray on that thing, sit on that thing, talk to myself, meditate on it, and go, all right, where can I go from here? And sometimes I'm crying. I've had emotional times on my show where you can edit out because you don't hear me blubbering, but something will happen. And just last 2 months, we've had police shootings, we've had race riots almost, we've had the threat of it. If you look at Facebook, you thought we were just gone down the tubes.
Oh my gosh.
People are just so much hate, so much destruction. And I took all that in. I took it all in as a pastor. One of the things that happens I remember I'm a big Star Trek fan, and one of the new characters on Captain Picard's ship, the new Next Generation, is the Betazoid, Counselor Troy, that can sense people's feelings. I have that. I am very empathetic, and if you are in a bad light, I feel it. And when my nation, my community is sad, I'm hurting too. So
sure,
my thing is comfort. How can I get you legitimately from 0 to 5 and then get you out of here so that you're okay? And sometimes I can't tell whether I did a good job or not, and it'd be months later I'll get a call. I've had this happen quite a few times, where somebody said, dude, I was on the bridge for real, or I had a gun in my mouth and you helped me. And I'm crying now. I'm blubbering because that's way over my pay grade. I mean, it's just, you don't think that you're doing anything. You're down in the basement. You're just talking.
Right, next to the laundry.
Yeah, man. And you're grumpy because your wife still cleaning the stuff. It's like, that's coming through the microphone. Will you stop it, please? And now somebody says, dude, you helped save me. And I thought, wow, okay, I'll keep on podcasting a little bit longer.
That's cool. I don't want to say it's depressing to me, but I've one of these things that I do on my Facebook page every day is I put in the 3 things that I'm grateful for. And a friend of mine started doing it, and I was like, it seems ridiculous. But I'm like, I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to do it for a week. I'll do it for 2 weeks. I'm going to do it for a month. And I think I've been doing it for a year and a half, and I've had a lot of people have said, you know what, it's great to hear these. It's inspiring. It's, they look forward to reading what my grateful things are, and believe me, it's minutia. It's like opening up a jar of peanut butter and being like getting into the jar of peanut butter for the first time. It's nothing big, but it's all those little things that just keep us going. Because
there are so many negatives. By the time you open your eyes to the time you go to sleep, you're being sold to, you're being shared with all the negative stuff that's happening in the world, and that stuff takes some stuff away from you. So,
it does.
So you need somebody to impart some positive stuff.
That's cool. That's cool that you can do that on your podcast. And like we talked about before, you've been podcasting for a long time. You've actually spoke at some of the new media.
Yeah, that's the cool part. Back in...
See, I told you this was a big score for me. I'm telling you. This guy's talked to everybody. I'm riding around my car making videos of me talking to my kids. Next thing I know, I got Kenn Blanchard with me. Oh my God.
There's because I've been podcasting and such a podcast snob and learning from all the greats that are doing stuff. We have the Holocaust Museum right to our right, and the U.S. Mint as well. I spoke at New Media Expo. I've been to quite a few media events over the past years, and I used to be the young guy or the old guy, but now this podcasting is blowing up. People who are getting kicked out of radio have finally seen the light, and a lot of old traditional newscasters, broadcasters are starting their own channels. So podcasting is another avenue now. And one time I thought it was going to replace radio, but not. It's just another venue. It's gone.
It is. I love podcasts, man. I listen to a bunch of stuff. I've been listening to you for a long time. I listen to the Gun for Hire podcast. I listen to Dave Ramsey, who's a financial guy. I listen to Hal Elrod, who's a motivational guy. I listen to Michael Hyatt, who's a motivational guy. It replaced the radio for me. I don't want to listen to the radio. I'm really tired of hearing the same 14 pop songs being played over and over and over.
Yeah, or the same voice on every channel. Everything's syndicated now. So
there's so many times I'm riding in the car when my daughter she pretends the car's a nightclub. She puts some music on, she's dancing around the whole time in the car, and then
daughters are great.
Oh boy. So she'll want one station, then she'll change the station, she'll change another station. I'm like, did we just hear the song? No, that was a different song. Then I swear we heard this. No, it's a different song, Dad. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same song. So podcasting is a great avenue for that, and you've been doing it for a long time, and you got a lot of people. And
love to share your thoughts. And some people don't realize how far that goes. Sometimes the stuff comes right from my heart to the microphone, and there's no filter. And on the negative vein, some people say crazy stuff that could hurt people. So you want to be real careful when you say stuff from the inside to out.
Right, you want to have some responsibility. I know this. I've been teaching gun safety classes for a long time, and I've taken a weird approach, I guess, to doing the classes.
Okay.
I don't want to say it's a weird approach, but the way I see things is I've got what I know and what I need to teach and what I need to cover. And every class I do, even though I cover the same material, every class is a little bit different. So I've taken this attitude that it's very much like, it's like jazz improv.
Yeah.
Like, we can play the same song, the solo's going to be different.
Riff it, man, riff it.
And yeah, and if somebody wants to talk more about keeping the gun safe in the house from the kids, or if somebody wants to talk more about lethal force, or if somebody breaks into the house, how do I take that route.
Yeah, there you go.
I take that route. And like I said, I feel, after I do a class, I feel like I'm bearing my soul for these people.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the same way. You're in your basement, you're bearing your soul for everybody.
And people pick up on that. They hear you and they know you. When you said, I want to come to D.C., I thought, I've never met this guy physically in my life, but he's listened to me for years. So he knows me.
Yeah.
That's a trust factor you just can't get. You got relatives that don't listen to you.
I know. Tell me about it. Yeah, this whole thing was, I don't want to say it was kind of weird, but I had this idea for this interview program that we're doing here, and I'm like, who can I get? Maybe I can get Kenn Blanchard. He might be crazy enough to do this. And I was totally impressed that I sent you an email 2 hours later. You're like, I'm in, let's do it. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this. This is huge. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So now we're on Independence. We just passed Department of Agriculture, Department of Energy, Department of Transportation. We had the Smithsonian and Air and Space on our left.
Cool.
And if we take a right by...
We take a right here.
Yeah, the next one. I think it might be 4th Street. We'll go right by the National Stadium.
Oh, cool. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's right here.
Now, the Nationals win, unlike the Redskins, right?
I know, right?
I'm speaking out of school. I don't know sports, guys. I don't know sports.
Oh, me either, actually. I have, this is the other reason why I got into firearms. I sucked at basketball. I had a family that was nuts about basketball, nuts about baseball. And they threw the ball to me, and I went, okay, throw it back. Shoot, Kenny, no. And it's like, that guy can't hit anything. And then as I finally, my height kind of caught up to me, because I'm still probably the shortest of my generation of people in my family. Mm-hmm. I was kind of bummed out that I sucked at it. So when you don't do well, you kind of don't want to do it.
Right. And
I said, all right, I'm not good at basketball, so I'm not going to play it. I'm not good at football, I'm not going to play it.
There you go.
And when they finally said, here's a rifle, marksmanship is cool, and I was really good at it. Mm-hmm. I thought, this is going to be my thing. I'll be the gun guy in the family.
Cool.
And it wasn't esteemed, though, until I got into the military.
Right.
And then that's when they're like, oh yeah, marksman, sharpshooter, expert, and then everybody loves you. And then later, when I became a law enforcement officer, again, that's when I went nuts about, you can shoot too? It's like, yeah. So that's kind of, because I have Sam Perkins from old days, Indiana Pacers and Dallas Mavericks. That's my cousin.
Oh, cool.
I had another cousin played professional football, Chicago Bears and Buffalo Bills. He played tight end, Thomas Smith. So my mom was even really good. She was like a star basketball player.
Yeah.
Keep straight. As a high school player. So when I got cut from the basketball tryouts, it's really embarrassing when your mother tells you, want me to take you down to the court and show you how to shoot some layups or something?
Things.
I'm thinking, no. So I'm so glad when I was able to do something physical in the firearms. And luckily, I'm a late bloomer. So right lane. So we're going to do... I was able to finally catch up and be more athletic as time went on. This whole place is being redeveloped. This was like the slums 10 years ago, but now it's building like crazy, and there are buildings and hotels, and the National Stadium is right underneath that thing right there.
Let's change topics. Let's talk about the gun business a little bit, and how you've been doing it for a long time, so you've seen a lot of changes.
Yeah, I started thinking I was gonna make my millions doing this stuff, and learned quickly I better find another job. There's not a lot of money in it, but the money is actually in not really the job itself, but the peripheral. So if you can find your niche, if you can find your voice, that you can do something that nobody else is doing,
right?
That will pull you to the next level. It's the secondary and the third that you'll actually make money, I believe.
Gotcha.
The product itself, not necessarily so. Like, so podcasting, I'm being on YouTube. There are people making money on YouTube, but that doesn't necessarily do it for everybody. It just has to get you in the front of the people who can do the secondary secondary part or the tertiary part.
So let me ask you this: you've got a couple of books out. Have the books helped you? I know that having a book gives you a lot more credibility if you're going to be a speaker.
It changed. It changed over time. When I first started in the late 80s, you had to have a book. If you are speaking in front of a crowd, if you're doing the Toastmaster thing, if you have an event where you're the paid speaker, book is golden. You must have it because it's a takeaway. Folks want to have it when they leave. But everywhere else, we are not reading like we used to. And my book sales reflect that. And not necessarily a bad book, it's just that we got bookstores that have gone out of business. So it's not just me, it's all over the world. We're more in the audio, more in the video. So if you want to write a book, still do it, but just don't think you're going to be able to quit your day job tomorrow with it. It's just an added feature. You got to have like more than one thing now. And I've tried everything, man. I got a CD of a skit that I put together. I've got some audio books of fiction stories.
Did you write the Zombie Strikes?
Yes.
You did? Oh, cool.
What I did was I found a guy who was brilliant, and he knows how to do the narrative and the what's the word? The dialogue. He's a really good dialogue speaker. So I would say my two characters are now at a mall, and I would paint the whole picture, and then he would add the conversation of what they see and how they're talking.
Oh, wow. So
we worked like great together. And then I wanted to do the Orson Welles thing and narrate, because why not? It's my show.
Right. It's your show. Why are you going to pay somebody else to do this?
So I'm having a blast, and we're making it like a whodunit and a cliffhanger every week, old school stuff. And then the story got stranger and stranger, but I was still having a good time. So we did it, for 200 episodes.
Wow.
Of the Urban Shooter. And then Derek decided he goes, man, that stuff is still out there. Can I pull it? I said, yeah. So you're a co-writer, so take everything.
Right.
So it's still available on his website.
Oh, that's cool. Cool. So yeah, so you got to change medias. I know that you've got to find your niche is really what it comes down to. And one of the things that I've noticed as a gun instructor is I feel like every class that I do, I bare my soul for, even though I cover the material. What makes me a little bit different from other gun instructors are the stories that I tell and the way that I can relate to people and the things that they take away when they take a class with me. And I wanted to be a rock star when I was a kid. I wanted to be a rock star when I was an adult. So I still want that, and I've still got that. And I take every class it's still part of a show for me. It's like I've got to go out and entertain people and keep them awake and keep them interested. And my hope is to convert. I call them non-gun folks. I say we have three types of people. We have the pro-gun people, the pro-2A people, we have the non-gun folk, and we have the anti-gun wackos. And my deal is to turn people into pro-gun people.
Okay.
So if I can take somebody that's not a gun person and convert them to wanting to have a gun, or at least being cooler with it, then I consider that a win. And there are some things that, like I said, I don't have a military background, I don't have a law enforcement background, I'm not a police officer. There's some things that kind of turn me off that I see guys do, and when I see something that's all camouflage, it makes me think that guy just wants people that are hunters. Or if I see things that are in like the military stencil, that makes me say, oh, you know what, that guy probably wants to build an army. And it's not that there's anything wrong with that. I know when I see that sort of stuff, it's just not for me.
What we have is there are like a gazillion veterans, and everybody came home with the same idea. I am a combat veteran, so I'm going to teach tactical, and we have so many tactical TEDs out there. Yes. And that is for one audience, but there are also women that shoot, and people that are disabled or have handicaps. All of that, everybody has another avenue that they can talk to. There are people who don't like the tone of my voice. There are those who do. There are those, and you have to learn that to be strong in your. I'm gonna stay to the right. You have to stay strong in your niche. Stay strong in what you're true to. What's cool about this whole media thing is we create our own channels, and people will find us because they didn't think they thought they were the only ones. So if you are a left-handed, left eye dominant or right eye dominant shooter that like to wear an eye patch, there's probably somebody just like you somewhere that loves your stuff.
Right.
All you gotta do is have the courage to just do it, and then build that community. You become the big fish in that pond.
Right.
I've I've managed to. I picked up the name Black Man with a Gun, but there are tons of us now, and I'm still me. And I'm not as radical as some people want me to be. I am not as whatever, but for my folks, I am it, and I'm glad with that. It took me a minute to get comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I was feeling like I have a chance now to be king of the world, Mom, but that's not where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
So I had to pull it back. I had to just say, well, I would just be true to my friends, to my community, and if you don't get me, that's cool. I'm gonna be all right with it.
Right, and that's, you're going to get some people, you're not going to get some people. I tell everyone, I'm the least threatening, when I was teaching at a shooting school, I'd say I'm the least threatening instructor, but I'm the most offensive one. So when there's a linear malfunction, I'd call it a Mexican standoff.
Okay.
And if you just stick a gun in your pants, I call it you're carrying Mexican style.
Right.
And I was in a class one time telling a woman that when I travel on an airplane, since I can't take any knives or guns on the airplane with me, I have an aluminum pen. I now have a cool tactical pen that I got recently. But I take an aluminum pen with me. I will take a Kubotan as a keychain, and I will also take aerosol hairspray and a Bic lighter.
Yes.
And she's like, what's that? I'm like, well, anyone in Boy Scouts knows that's a flamethrower. So when I get on the airplane, I've got a couple of tools that I can use. Even though I might be unarmed, I'm not unprepared. And she's like, I can't believe people get on the airplane with those things. I'm like, I know, can you believe? Like, I need to be able to protect myself from the people that carry those on the airplane. And I know she was totally talking like I was the crazy person.
I know, right.
And I'm like, you don't have that? That's on you, girl. That's not my problem.
Got the Pentagon coming up on our right.
Oh, I should be quiet about that then, shouldn't I?
No, you're good.
I ended up, this is a crazy story. I had some guns that were stolen from me at an airport in Providence, Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
My guns ended up, somebody tried to sell my snub nose revolver in downtown Providence.
Wow.
Yeah, I got all 4 of my guns back that I had, which is good. And I ended up on the no-fly list 2 years later. And I don't know how I got on it. I don't know how I got off it. But I literally found out I was on the no-fly list. And after I was on the no-fly, I found out I was on the no-fly list. They gave me a boarding pass anyway. I got on the airplane with a Kubotan, with a metal pen. I actually had my gun keys with me, and I have a little one of those little 2-inch knives, not even one of those little toys that you buy for $2 at a convenience store. I had one of those on my keychain. That got me through. That got through the metal detector. The only thing they were concerned about is I had a baseball hat with a Tommy gun hat pin, and they wanted to check that out. So I got on my social media after I was okayed. I'm like, I just found out I was on the no-fly list. I made it through airport security with a knife, a Kubotan, and a metal pen. This was in 2009. I'm like, this can't be right. Like, we certainly have, I don't know, whatever it is.
We're still working on it.
Still working on it, totally. And then 2 days later, I flew back, and the lady I wanted to do the check-in at the counter, and she's like, no, use a little kiosk. I'm like, I don't want to do that. And she's like, no. I'm like, really? I don't want to do that. So I did the kiosk. I entered my information. It didn't go through. I entered my information. It didn't go through. I entered my information. It didn't go through. And she came over. She's like, is there a problem here? I'm like, yeah, 2 days ago I was on the no-fly list. And she's like, oh, let me see your driver's license. So I gave her my driver's license. She gave me my boarding pass and said, have a safe flight.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, so what does the no-fly list really mean?
There's an issue somewhere.
There is.
See, after 9/11, we worked so hard to come up with an answer because everybody wanted something fixed. But you can't fix stupid. You can't fix stupid. You can't do a whole bunch of stuff just because. And we created a whole government entity to make us feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And they haven't got all their stuff in order yet. They're still working it out.
Yeah.
But bureaucracy being bureaucracy, it created more problems than we needed. So common sense isn't there. They don't have the Department of Common Sense here yet.
They do not.
No. So there's some crazy stuff going on here.
There is. I like to tell people in my classes that it's illegal to whatever, to do this or this or this. And I said, we can't make it more illegal. It's already illegal to buy a gun for somebody who's not supposed to have one. It's illegal. It's a straw purchase. It's already illegal. You can't buy handguns in states you don't live in. That's illegal. You can't do it.
What's really odd too with my stuff is that I've learned to stay straight. Just be who you are and fall. Like sometimes I'll get like really what folks call religious, and I have to. I'm a reverend, and they'll say, "Hey, well, I'm not Christian at all, but I listened to your show," and I thought, all right, I'm doing something right when that happens, because I'm trying to be authentic, and right is right, and left is left, and facts are facts, and truth is truth, and you don't have to agree with my faith or my politics, but I'm hoping I present the stuff to you. And the money part, it comes in a different way in business. It doesn't necessarily happen in dollars and cents, but folks grow to trust you. You grow your numbers, and then sponsors eventually say, "Hey, would you like to put my product in front of your people?" And then that's how you work out the relationship. Everybody who ever have a sponsor or had one, it's been because of a relationship, not because of a cold call or a sell or anything.
Right.
It's always been because the person knows me, loves me, likes me, trusts me, and says, "All right, I will impart with you either product or money." That's all you're trading. You're just trading relationship, or they believe in what you're doing. They say, "I like your stuff." Even your mistakes can be positive. Say you screw up royally and everybody like dogs you, but everybody sees how you tried to fix something. A year from now, when you're at a conference, that person maybe now be starting a new business, selling GoPros or something. It might be something totally different.
Yeah.
And they go, "I appreciate what you did. You took a hit for that.
Mm-hmm.
How about I donate this?" And I've been in this thing long enough that that's what's happened for me.
Yeah.
It's all about relationships.
That's cool. I tell people in classes when they do something wrong, I said, "Hey, you're doing a great job being a bad example."
Somebody has to stay right here. I'm going to take that left at Fort Market.
All right. So yeah, that's cool. That's cool. It's a little crazy driving here, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, man. We're back in Virginia, and this is this Hyatt here was the first place I had my first firearms class.
Really?
I wanted to wow my students. I went on the radio.
You wanted to wow your student?
Yeah. I just knew I was going to get a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
So I spent $800 to rent this room.
Wow.
With chandeliers and PowerPoints and curtains and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, we're close to the hotel now. Just got to remember how I got there. Oh, I think we take the Falls Church exit.
Okay.
And what happened? 15 people showed up.
15? That's cool.
Yeah. So I think
Did you break even?
That's all I did.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all right. You know, some people, the motivational guys you talk to, they say either you succeed or you learn. You don't lose. You succeed or you learn.
That's what happened.
Yeah, totally. Well, listen, we are almost done. And Ken, I got to tell you, this is great to be down in D.C. and drive around with you and spend some time riding shotgun with you. Or you ride shotgun with me.
Man, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for hanging out.
And thank you for hanging out, man. This has been a lot of fun. I really enjoy this.
Get to talk to a friend. So talking at somebody, I'm actually got a real person in my vehicle.
Yeah, you know, I listen to your podcast. You have people on once in a while.
Yes.
And you have people that do segments. But I'm trying to work on my interview skills.
And you got it.
I figure, you know, I'm a good BSer. I can talk. Yeah. I used to tell my kids, I said, you know, if I could get someone to pay me to talk, I could be a rich man.
I know, right?
My kids are like, yeah, whatever, Dad.
Kids are rough, man. They would give you no way through.
No, yeah, there's no easy going with those guys. But that's all right, man. I love my kids a ton.
Keep you humble.
Oh, it does. It absolutely does.
What was funny with my son, one time, I think we take left right here.
All right.
My son's friends went off about them talking to me. They said, your dad is the black man with the gun? Oh, how cool. And my son's like,
whatever.
Yeah, he was so shocked. He's like, man, they love you more than me.
I'll tell you this. I went to brought my daughter to a friend's wedding last month, and I actually officiated my friend's wedding. Mm-hmm. And you know, I've been friends with this girl for forever, and so I'm meeting all her people. And I go over and I say, hi, my name's Charlie, and I shake their hand. They're like, oh my God, you're Charlie from Facebook? You're the guy that does those gun gram things?
See?
Right? And we did this to about a half a dozen people, and my daughter's like, I guess you are famous, Dad.
I know, right?
I guess so. I'm like, you need to tell your brother. Because he's not going to believe it. well, listen, we are almost at our destination. I don't want us to call it our final destination, but we're almost where we need to drop off Ken. And Ken, it has been a pleasure to have you on riding shotgun with Charlie. It's been a lot of fun for me. I hope you guys got a lot out of it. It was an absolute honor that I was able to convince Ken. I didn't really convince him. I just asked him, and since he is an incredible guy, he said, "I'd love to. When can we do this?" So it's been a lot of fun for me. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope, Ken, that we get a chance to do this again, brother.
So do I, man.
Thank you very much, man. It's been my pleasure.
All right.
Thanks a lot. You guys check out Kenn Blanchard. He's the Black Man with a Gun. It's blackmanwithagun.com.
Yes.
He's got the Black Man with a Gun podcast. He's got the Black Man with a Gun book, and he has the Black Man with a Gun Reloaded book. That's the second book. And he's just a great guy, and it was an honor to have him on here. Thank you guys very much. All right, we'll talk soon.
All right, man.
All right.